Well, I apologize for the huge crowd. We're very limited by some of the things we have to do, so you understand when we live stream this, it has to be translated, and this is the only system that can do it. When we move it to the high school, it doesn't work as well. So I apologize for the huge crowd, but it's for good things. So we're going to celebrate a lot of people tonight. So at this time, I'm going to introduce Mr. John Trapani, who will introduce our performance.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I get a motion to go into open session?
Move it.
Okay. Please stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stand for a moment of silence, remembering the family of Amy Mendoza. Thank you. Please be seated if you can.
Thank you, Mrs. Hockman. Mr. Giordano, members of the Board of Education, Central Office administrators, staff, students, and community members, welcome. This evening we have a wonderful musical performance from members of our middle school 6th grade band under the direction of Mrs. April Rosequist. They've prepared 2 short pieces for you tonight that I think you will all enjoy, and I'm going to let Mrs. Rosequist do the honors and introduce the pieces to you.
Good evening. We're very honored to perform for you today, but just a little bit of background, because what you hear now is not what we heard in September. And just so you know, these are the children that started when they were in 4th grade when we shut down and went into quarantine. So they didn't have the best start to performing on their instruments. They learned virtually. So when they came to me in September, we were a little bit behind in our skills, but they've more than caught up, and they're very excited to play for you today. So their first piece is called Patriots on Parade. Our next piece is a fun one. I gave it to them on May 11th the day after their spring concert, so they only learned it for a month. It's Na Na Hey Hey Goodbye, and I chose this specifically because I thought it would be a fun one to send off Mr. Giordano, but in a respectful way. Not in an insulting way. So thank you, Mr. Giordano, for always supporting our music programs. We really appreciate everything you've done for us, and you will be missed terribly. Thank you. So there's actually a part in this that I'm expecting everybody to sing. And since I've been in Lindenhurst for, as I was telling them, I've been teaching here half of my life now. I know the kind of community that Lindenhurst is, and I know that you will be singing very loudly and enthusiastically. So we'll be clapping, and then I will cue you to come in, and it's going to be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate that. The band, you were great. Thank you so much for performing for us. Thank you.
You want to talk about the artwork?
If the sixth grade parents would like to join their students, they'll be going to the gym now to pack up. And as they're doing that, let me just draw your attention to our art display out in the hallway. This evening's art display let them leave first. I know.
noticed I didn't do the flag logo. There's a fire on the front. What? That's what it is. Give me a second.
Okay, this evening's art display in the hallway features work from Daniel Street Elementary School and William Roll Elementary School. Under the direction of art teacher Mrs. Theodorellis at Daniel Street, you will see third grade paintings of flowers, fourth grade cut paper notes, and henna hands. Fifth graders created aquarium drawings in perspective and oil pastel. William Roll artists, under the direction of Mrs. McGuire, employed many of the elements of art, such as line, shape, color, value, space, and texture. Students also learned and used some of the principles of art, such as pattern, movement, and balance. Fourth grade students learned about Oaxacan from the Oaxacan region in Mexico, inspired by these beautiful sculptures that they created lizard drawings and added patterns and designs with markers. If you haven't done so on your way out, please take a look at this wonderful artwork by our elementary students. Thank you.
If there are people in the hallway that would like to come in the courtyard, it's cool out there and they could actually see from out there if they'd like. If you notice I haven't done the fire code, it's because the police are present. I really don't want to do that. And don't worry, if you parked illegally, we're not giving tickets, correct? Right, okay. Okay, just want to make sure. So our first presentation tonight, was sent to us on June 6th, and it's from the New York State School Boards. It is actually for our school board itself. It says, in recognition of extraordinary dedication to effective and responsive governance during the unprecedented times, presented on June 20th, 2022, from the New York State School Boards. Executive Director, Lorraine Deller, and Michael J. Kelly, President. So this is really because of all the work that was done during the pandemic. So I will present this to the board, we'll get it framed, we'll put it maybe in the boardroom, wherever. But this is for them, from their own colleagues, so it's wonderful. So thank you, school board. Our next presentations will be the Pride of Lindenhurst. I'm first going to introduce Miss Jacqueline Herrig. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. Unfortunately, I don't think this person will be with us, but we're going to read the bio and hang his jersey.
This Pride of Lindenhurst Award honors a member of this community who has inspired pride in all of us for years. His hard work, dedication, and commitment to his team, his school, and his family has resulted in some pretty impressive gains. I'm sure by this point you all know who I'm talking about. A Lindenhurst High School Athlete of the Year, U.S. Army All-American, Newsday Hanson Award winner, member of the Long Island Class I Football Championship winning varsity football team, Ohio State Buckeye tight end, and most recently, third-round draft pick of the New York Jets. Jeremy Ruckert has more than earned the title Pride of Lindenhurst. So please join me in congratulating Jeremy on all of his accomplishments. Thanking him thanking him for entertaining us with his athleticism and wishing him much success in all of his future endeavors. Jeremy, never forget, once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 Pride of Lindenhurst Community recipient and New York Jet, Mr. Jeremy Ruckert.
Thank you, Jackie. Just so everybody is aware, Jeremy is at rookie camp. I'm sure he'd much rather be here than where he is. I did contact his parents, and they really apologize for him not being able to be here, but it's certainly out of his control. So we just wanted to honor him tonight, and we appreciate that. There's usually 3 Pride of Lindenhurst Awards, so one of them is going to be for a student, and that is going to be presented at either the high school graduation or the middle school moving up. If I say one or the other, you'll know who it might be, so I'm not doing that. So it'll be at one of those ceremonies, and a board member will present that at one of the ceremonies. At this time, I'd like to introduce Ms. Josephine Martino, who will do the next Pride of Lindenhurst.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming here tonight. This award is for a Pride of Lindenhurst employee. When asked about this year's recipient of the Pride of Lindenhurst Award in an employee category, her colleagues described her as someone who brought hope and a shred of normalcy to our school during a year filled with endless challenges. In addition to the already countless hours she spends devoted to teaching in the middle school, running the school store, and assisting the school's special education population, tonight's recipient somehow found more hours to give to our school community. This year, Nancy Brock, where are you? Where is Nancy? Oh, I'm not finished. Well deserved. This year, Nancy Brock brought back the tradition of a school play back in the middle school. As a new director, Nancy had to familiarize herself with all aspects of the world of theater, vocal expressions, lighting, sound, scenery, costumes. She probably had stress. She definitely yelled at someone. Choreography. In typical Nancy fashion, she went above and beyond with her dedication to helping all the children succeed. Her goal was to ensure that the middle school put on a play that would make the Lindenhurst community feel proud. And that, my friends, you certainly did. Whether the community watched it in person or virtual, which, by the way, another option that Nancy initiated so people could watch it at home, they had a memorable experience. The past few years have certainly been filled with uncertainty and anxiety for many, but Nancy gave the community something to look forward to and enjoy. She is an asset to this community and has more than earned this recognition through her dedication, passion, and her work ethic. Please join me in congratulating this very special educator. I am honored to present this year's Pride of Lindenhurst educator, Miss Nancy Brock.
I don't know if you want that. You don't have to take it. Oh, you're welcome. It's always nice when it's a surprise. So thank you for. She thought she was coming to honor you guys, which we do appreciate all you did to get this back to normal. So you know that. But that's how we got Ms. Brock here, is by telling her that you were going to be here, so. You got some more to come? Did you promise some ice cream? All right, I'll have to give you money. The next awards are our awards I have the privilege of giving. They are the Harvard. This year I'm going to take a little bit of liberties. Usually it's one in each category, sometimes two. I have two Yale awards, and I have, believe it or not, 3 Harvard awards, because it's my last chance, so I'm going to get them in. Year after year, the Yale Award is given to a member or members of the community who care a great deal about students of Lindenhurst. Well, tonight we will be handing out 2 Yale Awards because we're blessed to have, in this community, to be surrounded by so many who care. Our school resource officer and master instructor, Jeannie Osias, has been an integral part of the district for as long as I can remember, providing the students of Lindy with the support and education they need to make healthy and safe decisions for their futures. Whenever you need her, she's always there and ready to do whatever it takes. Just so you know, 3 Fridays ago, I called her at like 9 o'clock on a Friday night. We couldn't find a student from the middle school who was with a friend, but Jeannie said, I'll take care of it. She helped me, and I found out later she was in Vermont with her family, so thank you, Jeannie. Jeannie is passionate about her work. She does, and the kids, she helps. In fact, she's passionate about everything she works on and the people in her life. Prior to becoming an officer of the law, she is passionate about music and studied, really, you were music? Really? I was a music teacher. I didn't know that. Studied at Berkeley College in Boston. I didn't go that far. She was passionate about her daughters, Jessica, Jennifer, and Julia, and her late husband, John, and was passionate about education and teaching before joining the Suffolk County Police Department, which is why she requested to work in the DARE program and as an SRO when the program ended. I understand she is now passionate about woodworking and plans to make her focus in retirement. Perhaps she can make herself a shelf to hold this award. Who wrote that? I didn't write that. Please join me. I once made a shelf myself and everything fell off it. Please join, that's what music teachers do. Please join me in thanking and congratulating Jeannie Osias, one of the 222 Yale recipients. Our next Yale Award recipients could not be more deserving. Their involvement with our school community has resulted in approximately $470,000 in scholarship money for the students of this district. If you visit their website, you'll see the first line reads, "Service is at the heart of every Kiwanis Club." I can tell you that no truer statement has ever been made. The Kiwanis Club of Lindenhurst has been serving families in this community since 1950. They are part of the Kiwanis International, a global organization of volunteers founded in 1915, dedicated to improving the world one child, one community at a time. Safe to say that the Kiwanis Club of Lindenhurst has undoubtedly improved the community with their efforts. Each year, the Kiwanis Club provides children in our community a fun-filled experience and opportunities to achieve their greatest potential. The club participates in the various projects throughout the year to support programs they sponsor and other community concerns that involve fundraising, community service, and assisting children locally and worldwide. We are blessed to have a Kiwanis Club of Lindenhurst working so hard on behalf of our students, and will remain grateful to them always for their ongoing service and commitment. Please join me in thanking and congratulating the members of the Kiwanis Club of Lindenhurst. Come on up. Come on, RJ.
Thank you, Mr. Giordano. Yes, thank you.
A little bit. I guess right here?
Yeah, that's good. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
Now the Harvard Award. The Harvard Award is given annually to members and members of the staff who constantly demonstrate the highest level of commitment to their profession. Tonight, I am going to recognize 3 people for that award. Committed and dedicated are words that can easily describe all of them, and we are lucky to have them in our district. When I first became superintendent, I was immediately left with a challenge to hire an assistant superintendent for curriculum and instructions. There were 2 extremely qualified internal candidates who applied. Unfortunately, I could only pick one, and as you recall, I recognized Mr. Caravana with this award in 2015. Dr. Omas started her career in Brentwood, in the Brentwood School District. She then became AP at Arrowhead Elementary School in the 3-Village School District. She came to Lindenhurst as a principal at West Gates until 2011 when she moved to Albany. She became an assistant superintendent for elementary curriculum and instruction in 2015-16. During her time, she's led many initiatives at the elementary level: new literacy and math programs, classroom libraries, K-5, technology, true instructional leader, supervised AIS reading prior to hiring Ms. Wesolowski, planned various professional development opportunities for elementary staff and administrators. She is now revitalizing the Orion program, so we have our Orion program back. She wrote grants to obtain a pre-K program and summer lit camps, STEAM camps, and family literacy nights. I would like to thank Dr. Omas for her leadership and all the improvements she's made to our elementary programs for the past 7 years. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Lisa Omas. And she really is a very good MC. A few years back, the district was going through some changes, and there were quite a bit of turnovers in the special ed leadership. Understanding the importance of consistency in the department, the administrators felt confident that asking Mr. Brett Carney to step into the role as interim assistant superintendent for special ed and pupil personnel services, as he previously demonstrated excellent leadership during his time as assistant principal at the high school. It became clear during that interim period that he would be an excellent candidate for the permanent role. He interviewed and impressed the committee and continues to impress us now. We are grateful to his leadership and for all the improvements he's made in the department, the curriculum and instruction ensuring student-centered focus on all areas throughout special ed department. Brett collaboratively works with special ed administrators to meet the needs of our large student population and educational staff, and has not only improved the initial referral process, but established clear procedures with our related service providers, and assembled to prepare the first special ed handbook containing procedures, forms, and guidance, resulting in clear expectations and guidelines to follow all special ed related procedures and policies. Brett's ability and his commitment to make our school system a better one has not gone unnoticed. Without his daily assistance, knowledge, and commitment to the community of Lindenhurst, a smooth day-to-day operation of this district would be significantly hampered. He is an asset to me and to this district. Please join me in thanking and congratulating Mr. Brett Carney.
Want to get the whole family? Come on in, kids. You guys want to hold this on, baby? Step right in front. One more opportunity. And one more opportunity to embarrass him. He was also in my class of 2000 when I was an assistant principal. It's the last chance I get to embarrass him. And our last Harvard Award, similarly, our next Harvard Award recipient has demonstrated an incredible level of commitment to the district throughout her tenure, particularly during the pandemic when the district went to a remote instructional model and the coordinator of instructional technology at the time was dealing with family health issues. Jen Friedman stepped up to provide incredible support to the district at that time, and it's no surprise because she always has. As a middle school library media specialist, her commitment and dedication to her craft and her students resulted in the availability and expansion of many innovative STEM programs in the district. She consistently served as a guide to the middle school students and faculty in the use of technology integration into schoolwork, real-world language. Her talents, however, will not only benefit our district. Jen often presents instructional technology workshops in other educational venues. Her passion for technology and her personal growth has resulted her in a successful transfer to the role of coordinator to instructional technology and library media specialist. We are very lucky to have her on our team. So please join me in congratulate Ms. Jen Friedman, Harvard Award recipient. Okay, now I gotta, uh-oh, somebody leaned on the lights. That's okay. I've done it myself. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. It's really something I do all the time. It's not a good thing. Special meeting, I'm lost now. Hold on 1 second.
Let me help you out, Dan.
Yeah, thanks.
Let me help you out. Step aside for a minute.
That's not on the program?
No, Dan, it's not on the program. We're going to change up the program a little bit. Come on over. Come on, have a seat. Dan Giordano, we love this guy, right? Come on. Who loves Dan? All right, you can put those down for now. All right? So I wanted to say a couple of words about Dan, Mr. Giordano, for the students in the room. When the Board of Education originally looked at the feasibility of giving Daniel Giordano an award in recognition for what he's accomplished here in our community, our thoughts immediately went to the Pride of Lindenhurst Award. Why is that? The Pride of Lindenhurst Award, I think it says it all right in the title. Someone the entire community can look up to, although only Bobby Cazzetto has to actually crane his neck to do that. But someone we all can look up to as an example of what we are most proud of in our community and our schools. So Dan has been doing that for the last 25 years, and he's actually reading my speech ahead of me. And in many cases, that's the equivalent of an entire lifetime or career. When he started as an assistant principal, his goal was simple: make life better for the students entrusted in his care. He not only did that, but he excelled in the role, becoming principal of our high school shortly thereafter. While principal, fought relentlessly and the betterment of students, staff, and the building, sometimes, often, to the chagrin of his boss, then Superintendent Neil Lederer. While Dan sometimes disagreed with central administration, you could always be guaranteed of one thing. Whatever Dan was proposing, it was the right thing to do for kids. It was the one constant in his life and career that guided him to where he is today. Now, although Dan wasn't a math teacher, he does have, at the very least, a rudimentary knowledge of math. So let's talk about Dan's Lindenhurst career by the numbers. It's been 25 years. In that time, he served under 3 different superintendents, and even though the Disney community refers to Walt Disney World in Florida as the happiest place on earth, for Dan, of course, the happiest place in Lindenhurst has been the boardroom in our central office. And in that boardroom, as superintendent, he's worked with 14 different school board members, some of which former board members are here tonight. Thank you for coming. He's attended over 200 school board meetings, countless PTA meetings, and negotiating sessions. In his first year alone, he settled 7 contracts. The trust our community placed in him allowed him to earn passage of every single budget, 8 of them, during his tenure. And I'm not sure who's the biggest spender in your families out there, but in the Giordano family, even if Carol, Dana, or Andrew try, they can't beat this guy. While he was superintendent, he oversaw spending a total of $1.45 billion on our children's education and on one small bathroom in his office. He's attended over 250 concerts and plays, almost 100 graduation ceremonies, beginning in 2014 with his very last graduation ceremony as high school principal, where allegedly a group of young women from the varsity softball team successfully forked his lawn, and ending with the high school graduation of 2022 on June 24th, otherwise known as Daniel E. Giordano Day in the town of Babylon. So if you see him on the 24th, wish him a happy Dan Day. 24th will also be his very last day of school.
No, 30.
School.
Oh, school. Pushing me out faster than I want to go.
And if you know Dan, you know he likes to get the last word in. So although I personally only know about, by name, about 200 or so of the students whose lives were bettered by Dan, there were roughly, and we did the math, over 20,000 of them. And a lot of them are here in the building tonight, some of whom are on your cabinet, some of whom may be appointed as assistant principals tonight. Most of those people, most of those students do remember his name. They remember their experiences with him, but most importantly, they remember how he made them feel. As Dan is fond of mentioning, the great American poet Maya Angelou once said, "People will forget what you say to them, they will forget what you do for them, but they will always remember how you made them feel." And although that doesn't rhyme, she's still a great poet, and Dan never fails to put that in every speech he writes. Well, in every speech Vinnie Caravana or Allison DiMaria or the new Allison writes for him. And not only because she said it, because it is the guiding principle of his life. So Dan has spent countless hours, days, and evenings in this district away from his family, sacrificing his time with them to the benefit of our children. We thank Carol, Andrew, and Dana for sharing him with us, and to Dan's late parents, his mother Lillian and his father Michael, for raising him to be the man he is today. As a member of the school community, as a parent of students who attended Lindenhurst, and as the vice president of our Board of Education, but most importantly as a friend, I am so honored and humbled to award this next recognition to Mr. Daniel E. Giordano. It's called the Lifetime Achievement Award for Academic Excellence. It's the first time we're giving it, and I think it will be the last time we give it for the foreseeable future, based on the level of commitment and dedication that Mr. Giordano has shown to the community. It recognizes an unprecedented level of dedication and excellence far beyond the pride of Lindenhurst, sort of the equivalent of receiving that award for 25 years straight. So Dan, I'm going to sort of read the plaque here. You want? Make sure I get it right. So this is the Lifetime Achievement Award for Academic Excellence, awarded this day, June 15th, 2022, to Daniel E. Giordano for your 25 years of service benefiting and serving the Lindenhurst school community. You have made a positive impact on thousands of students' lives, and we honor you for that. On behalf of the Lindenhurst School Board, our students, and the Lindenhurst community, we thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I don't have a speech. You feel that that's lucky. Be lucky about that. And I didn't bring too many tissues or handkerchiefs, so I do appreciate it. I love this district. I will always be here if you need me. Just let me know. It's just the place I wanted to be for the last 25 years, and I thank you for sharing it with me. Thank you.
The last thing left is the top 20, right?
Top 20, yeah.
If I could ask Dr. Brody to come up. I made a big mistake when we introduced the top 20 the first time. I did not invite Dr. Brody, so I apologize. So Dr. Brody's here today, so we're going to introduce our top 20. You want to go in reverse order? Okay. And we're going to ask that you come up on stage one more time.
Okay, so you guys are so awesome, we get to do this twice. Starting with Miss Tiana Marty. Angelina Mavros. Brendan O'Connor. Hallie Halsworth. Samuel Ogunwale. Angela Marie Sessa. Megan Donkowski. Ibel Madera. Sarah Irfan. Michelle Karanowitz. Bevan Gao. Everett Hinckley. Jenny McPadden. Alyssa Ronsky. Taylor Santha. Francesca Rodriguez. Justin Silva. Alexandra Blazczak. Our salutatorian, Randy Ramsushit. And our valedictorian, Adahan Yetimoglu.
Do you have something to say? Okay. Thank you, everyone. And we do have one more presentation. It's not too often that we have staff members that really go out of their way. I mean, they always go out of their way for their students, but many times it's not life-threatening. We did have a situation at William Roll, and I'll introduce Ms. Farrah McKenna, who will introduce the person we're going to honor tonight.
This evening, we would like to acknowledge one of our E&L aides who has gone above and beyond this year to ensure the safety of one of our students who has medical needs. She was right there on the scene when he suffers from seizure disorder, and she knew the signs, and she immediately was able to tend to him and ensure his safety. And in addition, the same student actually had eaten a grape and was beginning to choke, and once again, she immediately went right into ensuring that he was safe and tending to his medical needs. So at this time, we would like to acknowledge Johanna Macy's. Oh, unfortunately, Johanna was supposed to be here tonight, but I guess she's not. But okay, there you are. I'm like, you were, Johanna. Congratulations. One of our best.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
Okay.
Congratulations.
And I would also like to thank the teacher that Johanna has worked with for many years, Michelle Keogh, in also acknowledging how essential Johanna is to William Roll.
And tonight, we do have Mrs. Herrick is her last board meeting. We thank her for all of her years of service, and I have flowers for her. Yeah, if you're here for the presentations and you want to go, this is your opportunity, so thank you.
Approval of minutes,
I'd like to approve the minutes for the June 1st business meeting.
moved by Mr. Langone,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Martino. On the question? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 8-0-0.
You know what, we didn't talk about that. I mean, we could do it, or we could just pull it later. I don't know. You want to pull it? Okay.
Oh, 9.4.
If you want to go into executive session, talk about it for a second? I mean, it's up to you. I don't care. The last time we did sign it that way, because I have the record of it. Yeah, just do 9.4 at the end, and we can go into exec at the end and come back if we have.
All right, okay. All right, so I'll pull it.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so consent agenda.
Do any of my colleagues have any questions on agenda items? Does anybody from the audience have a question on agenda items only? Did anybody sign the list? Thank you.
That's a community forum.
Okay, this is all community. Okay. Consideration of consent agenda.
I'd like to move the consent agenda with the exception of item 9.4.
Moved by Mr. Langone,
Second.
seconded by Mrs. Cunningham. On the question,
I have a question.
Mr. Langone.
If I could. I have a question, but I would like to yield my time to Mr. Cahill. Mr. Cahill, you want to come up and speak? Thank you.
Testing. Hello, my name is Daniel Cahill. I'm the advisor of the high school robotics team and a proud Lindenhurst alumni, class of 2014. I first joined First Robotics Team 533, the Psychotics, in 2011 during my 9th grade year, and it has made such an impact on my life. So much so that I've made it my mission to give back and mentor current students in the program in hopes that it impacts their lives and direct them down a successful path. I was never the most highest ranking student. I struggled to keep my grades up, and often at times, I found it hard to find the motivation to go beyond my limits and reach for success. But robotics kept me grounded, and it taught me that education just isn't important, but the single most important thing you can do with your life. Without robotics, I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be where I am here today. For that, I want to say thank you. Thanks to all the teachers, administrators, and board members who made this program possible. But I am here today to thank one person in particular, and that person is Dan Giordano. I had the pleasure of Mr. Giordano being my high school principal. He has shown continued support that has directly and indirectly impacted the lives of many students going through this program. Cheering for us at competitions, securing funding for our build season, attending our fundraisers, and supporting us through the good seasons and the bad seasons. Always supporting the fun and the experience of the build and competition season over winning. He is a true inspiration to us all, and even though he's retiring, he will always be a psychotic.
That's what my children say.
The team and I wanted to show not only our gratitude for everything he has done for us, but also spread his message for future students to learn. That's why, going forward, the robotics team will sponsor a scholarship called the Daniel Giordano Engineering Inspiration Scholarship that will be given to 2 graduating team members, so he will always have an impact on students to years to come. Without further ado, I would like to announce the first recipients of this scholarship. These students have worked hard during their 4 years on the team, and even during a global pandemic, they continue to stay dedicated and rally the team to participate in virtual events. They have managed to balance family, school, and other clubs while making an impact on underclassmen and myself. From learners to leaders, they truly embody the message of Mr. Giordano. So please join me in a round of applause and congratulate Robbie Riker and David Kensman on receiving the Daniel Giordano Engineering Inspiration Scholarship.
Just quickly, I went to the last robotics competition at Hofstra, and when I was there, I was very impressed by Dan. Some of the students came up and said, you know, the other teams were asked to do things that really weren't the right things to do. They said, you know, keep the other teams from putting balls in the goal and not do the right thing. And when they said to Dan, they said, what should we do? He says, what do you think the right thing to do is? and he led them to come to their own decision that the right thing, classy, and do the right thing. And that said so much to me. He's such a nice young man. He works so hard, and I really do appreciate this. And you do emulate that program, and it's great. And Rob, I have a picture for your brother. I was at I was at the middle school Monday night, and the Blue Angels, when they were here, one of the commanders was a Lindenhurst. He gave me 2 posters, and he signed both of them. He had all the people sign it, and I saw Rob's brother with a Blue Angels backpack on. So I said, "Do you like the
Blue Angels?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Well, I have something for you." So I knew I was going to see him tomorrow, right? So I was going to bring it tomorrow, and I will bring it for him. Right, Carol? It's all out in the dining room, ready to come. So, and she's happy to get rid of it. I mean, I have 2, but she's happy to get rid of 1. But in all honesty, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 800. Now I need a motion to go in executive session.
I move to go into a short executive session.
Moved by Mr. Langone.
Can we just make a few announcements? Because we have a lot of teachers here that are getting tenure that you just approved. So, Mindy, do you want to? Yes. I'm going to start with, tonight we appointed our new assistant superintendent for operations. What's the new title? Operations? Whatever. Well, Mike, what's your title?
It's finance, operations, and technology.
There you go. That's what we just appointed. So, congratulations to Michael. Mr. D'Aragona. Sorry.
Okay.
We're also very fortunate due to retirees and to the American Rescue Plan funds to address learning loss, to welcome several new teachers here this evening. And if you are present, I would just ask you to stand. Sean Farnham, English at the middle school and the high school. Samantha Von Gerrickton, math at the high school. Kat Kalinowski, math at the high school. Amanda Martin, math at the middle school. Jessica Belomo, math at the middle school.
Jennifer Crowley, Elementary, Westgates. Which is here. Kaylee Henn, Elementary, Daniel Street. And a welcome back to Janice Lopez, who will be working at Daniel Street.
Alyssa Argila will be working in special ed at Allegheny. That's really loud.
Kristen Bopp, Elementary, Allegheny. Sarah Papasadero, Elementary, Daniel Street. And Carly Durlam, Harding Avenue.
James Branker, ENL, High School in Daniel Street. And George Zembrzycki, Technology at the high school.
Congratulations and welcome to all of you.
And finally, in terms of personnel, we'd like to recognize our teachers and administrators who are present here tonight and those who are not present as well. Congratulate them on having completed their probationary period and being awarded tenure. Again, if you're here, please stand so we can recognize you. Andrea Judge, our coordinator of guidance.
Joe Calderon, Phys Ed. Michelle Durr, Elementary. Congratulations. Stephanie Fleischman, elementary, dual language. Amanda Garcia, early intervention, elementary, William Rawl. Michelle Perino, elementary, Daniel Street.
Sarah Wells Hendry, school psychologist, Allegheny.
Lauren Whiteneck, elementary, Daniel Street. Danielle Lazaro, reading, Allegheny Avenue, with a heavy child. And Valerie Gannick, elementary, at Daniel Street. Leanne Hallweg, elementary, Harding Avenue.
Mindy Wald, E&L, World Languages at the middle school. Hiba Saman, E&L teacher at the high school. And Lara Sauer, middle school English. Congratulations to everybody.
I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate two individuals who are being appointed to new elementary assistant principal positions. Lauren Whiteneck, Daniel Street. And Scott Garafola, Albany Avenue Elementary AP. Congratulations to everyone.
That's it, we can go, exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good night, Lauren. Can I get a motion to go into open session? Moved by Mr. Langone. Who's second? Second by Mrs. Cunningham? Okay. Superintendent's recommendation 9.4.
Memorandum of agreement?
Move it.
Second by Mr. Langone. Michael. Seconded by Michael. Mr. Di Giuseppe. On the question. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 8-0-0. Okay.
Now we're done?
Do we have any unfinished business? Any new business? Okay. For the community forum portion of this evening, we have Gabriella Sala. Is she here?
Yep, she's coming
Oh, I'm
to the
sorry.
podium.
Okay.
My name is Gabriella. I wanted to tell you what the last 3 months has been like in middle school. On March 7th, while I walked out of school, a group of boys I don't really know yelled, "Gabby K." My mom's friend who picks me up heard this and asked me what it means. I said I didn't know, but I've heard it around the school a few times. I have to say the words, I'm sorry. We found out that it was a slur and that it meant you were gay or a piece of shit, and other meaner definitions. My mom and her friend reported it to the 7th grade AP. On March 24th, I started receiving messages from an unknown number. Messages that contained curse words, racial slurs, inappropriate images, and pictures of the texter. The texter is the same student who called me the slur earlier that month. He called me gay slurs, the B word, and the N word. My mom contacted the AP and he again said that he would get a handle on the situation. After a few days, the AP told my mom that they couldn't really pinpoint a number to a student, so they couldn't really do much. My mom told them that it's because it was a ghost number. When I was called down, I told the AP that the boy said his name on the text, but at the time the kid said that it wasn't him, so they couldn't do anything about it. Things were quiet for a while until April 9th. I started receiving text messages from the same unknown number. Included in the text messages were more curse words, slurs, insults, and at this time, phone calls. The person, which is the same boy who called me the slur, was calling my mom and I disgusting words. The AP gave my mom a number to call to the police, so we did. But the police said that the school had to handle it. On April 17th, I received a picture from Google Maps of my house with a message underneath it that says, "This you?" I was startled because now these kids not only knew my phone number, but they knew my address. We reported it to the police, and they said that they would go to the houses of the boy making the call and sending texts, as well as his friends. The calls and texts finally stopped, and it all stayed quiet for a very long time. On April 22nd, around 8 o'clock, I heard shouting outside of my window. I didn't think anything about it until I heard my last name. I stopped what I was doing only to hear, "Gabby K, you piece of shit," and "Gabby, my last name, you effing piece of shit." I was nervous to go to the school knowing that these kids knew where I lived. Once again, we reported this incident to the school, but nothing happened to the boys. I wasn't shocked. I'm getting used to see everyone get away with the wrong things. Tuesday, May 31st, before gym class, my friend showed me a picture and a video posted by one of the boys in the group of bike riders. The picture was on Snapchat, and it was of my house with the caption, Gabby K. The video was one of the boys, which was the Snapchat poster, riding his bike in front of my house, screaming, "Gabby, my last name, you're a effing whore." I want to ask you, how would you feel if your child, your daughter to be exact, was being called a whore, being texted insults, called derogatory names, and sent pictures of your house? That's what I'm going through. I'm being called a whore, a piece of shit, and being sent photos of my address, the place where I'm supposed to feel safe. These boys are literally double, maybe triple my size. The suspension they received was not enough. A one-day suspension is not enough. Honestly, all these months later, and nothing is enough. No matter what anybody does, it will get worse, and these kids will continue to treat me this way. I've done what I've been told to do. I've gone to a trusted adult, and guess what? It makes it worse. What am I supposed to do? Stay quiet and let these kids continue to harass me? I look to the school to handle this and take this off my hands so that I'm not living a summer of misery. A summer where I don't have to worry if something happens to my house, or being embarrassed if the neighbors hear the nasty words that these boys are calling me. What is it going to take for something to actually be done? Something that makes these boys realize that there are consequences and makes them stop. Is it going to take for one of them to hurt me for something to be done? I'm not going to wait to be recorded and knocked out in front of the school by these boys before you do something. What happens when I do get hurt? Will it be a 5-day suspension now? Or will I be getting a 1-day suspension when I finally speak up and defend myself? Our principal always says, self-defense is not an excuse for a fight. So am I supposed to stand here and take the hits, verbal, emotional, and mental? That makes a lot of sense. The saying goes, if you see something, say something. I'm not only seeing it, I'm living it, and I'm saying something. What are you gonna do?
Jeannie Saylor?
I'm going to have to try and correct myself a little bit because even though we've been going through this, hearing her stand here in a public forum saying it just breaks my heart further. So I'm going to read what I wrote. I'm going to try and stay calm and non-emotional. So you heard my daughter, and now you'll hear from me. Actually, you already heard from me via email. As my daughter stated, we've been dealing with this issue since the beginning of March. At the end of March, students got creative in their harassment towards my daughter. They created ghost accounts to text their gross images and slurs, and by gross images, I mean nudity. Gay nudity. I reached out to the assistant principal, and after a failed attempt at narrowing down the culprit, it seemed like he just gave up when he gave me a Suffolk County PD complaint number. We're dealing with a society of parents that have a not my child syndrome mentality. These very children are being raised by handheld electronics. Who has the most friends, views, likes, and comments on social media? They live their lives behind a screen. That is not the real world. What my daughter is experiencing is. These kids are not held accountable at home and barely held accountable at school. Well, at least that's been our experience. I'm looking at a table filled with trustees who ran their campaigns on the "It's about the children." But I guess it depends on whose child you're talking about, because my child hasn't felt safe since March. So if this is about the kids, why is my child feeling unsafe? Why are other parents feeling that their children aren't safe? If this is about the children, but my child and others don't feel safe, then why are you all sitting on these seats? What exactly are you doing? When I was handed a Suffolk County PD complaint number, I knew at that moment that things were going to get ugly, and they did. This was the moment I knew my daughter's school did not have the tools to provide her with a safe school and learning environment. And that's where you all come in. You received my emails. Only a few of you reached out. Some had an ulterior motive. Some offered great advice on handling the situation, and others flat out said that they camp out at my house to catch these guys. That's all and well and good, until I'm sitting at a family member's wake and receive a hysterical phone call from my daughter telling us that the image of our house was texted to her with the question, "This you?" Her home at that moment was and is no longer a safe haven. I have cameras inside and outside of my house in order to keep her safe because you couldn't handle the problem behaviors of these students from day one. These kids have graduated from text messages to phone calls, calling my daughter a bitch. Oh, and me the N-word, telling me to F myself via telephone calls. Then riding past my house to hear my daughter's name being called out and calling her a F and B. Still, you did nothing. This continued a few more times. Enter social media. Not only is my house on social media, but now they're posting my daughter's full name and calling her an effing whore. I have filed numerous DASA reports within the school system. As I researched on how to elevate a solution to this issue, I came across information that stated that after filing a DASA report, I should receive feedback, a resolution report. I never received one until last week, after I inquired about a follow-up report. So my question, does this mean that my previous DASA reports weren't in compliance? This year alone, I should have had about 7 reports. I only have 2. I never received a report, but I received a claim number for Suffolk County Police Department that the middle school provided for us. Yeah, we called the police. Yes, we used the claim number that you initiated. And by you, I mean principals and assistant principals. But it seems that once I did that, you didn't have to work anymore. My husband and I ended up leaving work to go to the school after the Snapchat incident. And we were assured that consequences would be handed down. A 1-day suspension, we later found out. Would that be enough if that were your child? But can you really relate? Only 3 of the sitting board members have children within our schools. Maybe that's the problem. The majority of this board hasn't changed in the past 15, 16 years, but our children and modern technology have. We see our fights being broadcasted on social media, kids riding around harassing other students and their families, and nothing is being done. Maybe these students feel protected because they're making TikToks with their teachers, their besties. Why they feel protected, my child does not. Your plan and efforts within our schools is not enough. The damage is done. My child has been emotionally traumatized because of the lack of resources being provided to help the bullies, the troubled kids attending our schools. My child is not the only one going through this. The less you do, the more these kids get away with. Maybe if you put as much effort into bettering our schools as you did the Board of Ed election, my daughter and other students being harassed by these kids wouldn't feel unsafe in the places that they should feel safe, their homes and at school. These behaviors would be non-existent and we'd see a change in our schools. Or maybe we should have parents on the board who are actually experiencing the hell that my family and I have experienced within these past 3 months. Through this disgusting experience, I came in contact with other parents who have experienced and are experiencing the same hell my daughter and I have experienced. And they've also mentioned that they've made reports to the school. And some suspensions were handed out, but that's about it. The kids are still at it, bullying their kids. We have come up with a plan, and I have emailed you, that can help parents like us, helping our children through the emotional abuse brought to them within the outside of their school walls. Within and outside their school walls. We came up with the parents' plan. We hope that you will take this plan into consideration, as we do not want other parents to experience the hell that we have. And here I have what we came up with as the parents' plan, along with my daughter's full letter. If you want it, it's here. I don't know who to hand it to.
Mrs. Saylor, if you could give it to me, and I'll tell you why, because I tried to open it for a board member and it didn't open. Is it on an Apple computer? Yeah. Yeah, so it didn't open on ours, so I could scan it and send it to people? because most of us could not open it.
I couldn't open it. The first one was, yeah, not that. And the first one was not that kind.
There you go. Giovanna St. John?
Hi, good evening. I'm here speaking on behalf of my son, and this is his close friend and advocate. They both attend the Lindenhurst Middle School and are in 7th grade. I put together some notes, so bear with me, as it has been very difficult within the past several years in dealing with some of the issues that my son has also been going through. Though we're not naming the individuals, a lot of the same individuals that unfortunately Mrs. Saylor's daughter has gone through. My son's experiences in your school have resulted in him being written out medically twice because of ongoing bullying and harassment he has received. My son has been physically assaulted, forcibly touched, told to kill himself, had pictures taken of him without his knowledge or consent, only to be posted online with hateful captions on them, spit on, and called homophobic slurs. All have been reported to the school with mixed results and outcomes. It is clear to me that our schools do not know how to respond at this point. Because of this lack of infrastructure and support regarding these matters, this behavior then bleeds onto our homes, our property, and in my case has affected the way we live our lives day to day. My daughter is 7 years old and feels panic every time she sees a group of teens near our home on bikes, fearful they will yell vulgarities at her brother again. My son no longer will go for a walk, a bike ride, or sit on our front stoop and enjoy the music we get to overhear from the beach in the summer. The lack of action from this district is creating a new norm for our children and their fellow students. A norm that is unacceptable for adults, but now forced upon our children, that encourages sexual harassment, racial bias, homophobia and hate. The reward in behaving this way is acceptance among the peers they fear the most. The handful of bullies that plague not only our schools, but now our community. Your failure to see and hear parents like myself, and I'm sure many others raising these concerns, are causing damage to how not only our kids see themselves, but how they see the community and the world around them. All while they're just trying to pass math. I really hope you consider revamping your bullying interventions. And I'm not talking about more detention and more locking them away and more suspensions, but we need rehabilitation efforts for victims of this and for the bullies themselves, who at the end of the day, I believe, are the biggest resource in understanding why this is happening in the first place. I really beg you to please help. Liam, do you have anything to say? Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Val McKenna?
She said, yeah, she's leaving.
Good evening, Val McKenna, 1014 North Fulton Avenue. Oh, boy. Congratulations, Dan, on your retirement as superintendent. Last night's celebration was nothing short of spectacular, highlighting your vast achievements as an educator and leader in this district. As your retirement was drawing near, I began reflecting over your career as superintendent and went back to when it all began. My thoughts immediately went to how bad everything was, and I guess it still is. I mean really bad, prior to your taking office. Many here know of what I speak, but those who may not know, let me provide a snapshot of the atmosphere in our schools. 6 bargaining units were without a contract, some for multiple years, and the morale of the employees and staff was at an all-time low. The administration was a revolving door. Lindy seemed to be a stepping stone for hires, and then they would leave. The Board of Education's relationship with the Teachers Association was reduced to rubble. All parties looked upon each other with disdain, and we communicated through attorneys only. We had buildings that needed repair work and no money. Lindenhurst needed a change and fast. As such, one of the options was to not renew this contract of our former superintendent and begin a search for a new superintendent. Me, I was absolutely terrified to go on a superintendent search. At that time, if we did not find a suitable replacement, it would cost the taxpayers up to $750 a day for an interim superintendent. Mrs. Aniello convinced me and former colleagues that we had to make the break and find a new leader. So we said some prayers, took a deep breath, and went on a national search for a new superintendent. When I found out Dan Giordano asked for an interview with the Board of Education, I immediately thought, love the guy dearly, amazing principal at the high school, community adores him, but we need a warrior. This district is in absolute shambles. He can't be the one. That was until he started speaking. To say he blew us all away, as well as the field of candidates, doesn't scratch the surface. He sat down, back perched, opened up his binder, and talked specifics. He explained chapter and verse how he was going to change the trajectory of this district. He did not say, I think I can. I'm hopeful I can. He was absolutely convinced that he was the man for the job. He knew exactly how to fix our schools, what needed to be done to make it happen, so that our students would have a great place to learn, our staff to work, and our community to have pride in our schools. He started his new position as superintendent in July of 2014 and hit the ground running. You all know the rest. Most of the bargaining unit contracts were settled within the first 2 years, including the TAL contract. Credit must be given to Mike Pastor and John Savastano, who took over leadership of their union and worked well with Mr. Giordano and the Board of Education to settle it. Moreover, the Board of Education recently settled another TAL contract, so that makes 2 during Dan's tenure. He also negotiated and settled contract multiple times for most of our units. The relationship with all of our bargaining units became healthy, strong, and even friendly. He found new and innovative ways to make our district better for our students and staff. He trusted and believed in the people he hired, and micromanaging was not in his vernacular. He empowered his cabinet and was always encouraging. Dan took credit for nothing. As such, many of them have chosen to stay, even though other opportunities for higher salaries can be attained from our neighboring districts. Dan created a work environment that made people happy and proud to come to work. He was the most accessible person. He gave his cell phone out to anyone who wanted it. I used to call his cell the bat phone because he always answered the call. His love for this community was second to none. Recently, he went to the Spring Festival on Wellwood Avenue. His wife, Carol, told me that people kept coming up to him and thanking him, as well as expressing how much they will miss him. She said many of the people he did not recognize, but that's because he didn't care if you were someone he knew well or met once. If you found out you needed his assistance, he moved heaven and earth to fix the problem. He is the model of integrity and honesty. He is who you aspire to be as a person. Dan, your achievements are too numerous to mention, but from that very first meeting with the Board of Education, you did everything you said you were going to do and then some. Although we will miss seeing you at every Lindenhurst Board of Education meeting, budget meeting, robotics competition, band things, sporting event, concert, PTA meeting, award ceremony, or graduation, your legacy shall live on in all the lives you changed for the better.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Can I just
Mrs.
say
Aniello.
something to the people who spoke?
She wants to address Mrs. Saylor, I think.
No, go ahead.
So I just want you to understand that sometimes, while we did hear from Mrs. Saylor, they don't all get to us, and never would any board member ever, ever think any of this was normal or right. Number one. Number two, the Board of Education in the election has nothing to do with the board. The school has nothing to do with the election. However, it's very obvious to us that things are getting out of hand, okay? To me, anyway. I see it on the streets. I'm on the streets all the time. I do believe something should be done, as all my board members and the administration. What do? We don't know. However, I think it would be a really good idea, and we have spoken about this, about having a committee of people and running the committee. And when people come, you know, they come together, parents would be more comfortable coming to that committee, talking to those parents, because something has to be done.
In the plan, which I really hope you guys read and consider.
We will.
We read it.
We will.
We read it.
Yeah.
It has to say, no, it has to say my daughter is going through this, and you
Sweetheart, no, that's not true. We did hear. That's not true. I have to let administration do what they're supposed to do. I can't do a thing. I can only advise.
Talking about the Board of Education, I said that if those efforts were put in to our children, we'd be thriving.
But that's not their efforts. Right, listen.
You're taking it out of context, and I'm really not even trying to hear this from you right now, Lynn.
Okay, that's fine. Listen.
3 months that I've been going through.
I'm just telling you that we would never approve any of this behavior.
I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying that in
okay.
general, nothing's been done within the district. And honestly, don't take it personal.
I'm not taking it personal, but we do ask administration to address it, and everything goes through them.
No, do not do that. Do not do that.
I'm not doing that. Listen, the bottom line, listen, I understand that. I'm not ruling your eyes. I'm trying to talk to Jackie. All right, listen. I am hearing you.
Really messed up, Lynn. Everybody voted you in because you were about the kids.
Of course I'm about the kids. I'm not rolling my eyes at you.
No.
All right, whatever. Listen, I understand. I'm sorry. I think a committee would be wonderful. I get it. I understand. She's been going through a lot. But I don't want you to ever think that we don't want to do something about it.
What I think, honestly, and I don't think that this is a reflection of this superintendent, I think Principal Turner and a lot of phenomenal people. I think what we have is an issue with a lot of talented teachers and administrators that are going to get burned out if there's not infrastructure improvement. And I'm telling you, it's not just as a parent who loves their kids. I investigated the Department of Education for many years in the law enforcement agency, and I defend criminals for a living. These kids could be prosecuted, they could be arrested, but unfortunately, I don't think that's the best way to go about it, and there's a dissemination and sort of a culture of not wanting to do everything on this department, which is separate either, but I feel like we're not using the resources that we do have, which is our own students, and our bullies, and our victims, and just allowing them to navigate their own conflicts, and I think that doesn't cost money, but it just requires some backing, and, you know, we have 2 years training for staff and for people, and yet we subject our children to horrors that we would be, you know, out the door in a heartbeat. And I know that we're better than this. The curriculum my son is learning and how he's learning it is above and beyond cutting edge. I love this. I feel like we need to be cutting edge in this rock too, and be innovators in this function. And I know we have the talent to do it. And Principal Lefferno is someone that I recognize that has that in him. But I don't want to lose him. Honestly, I don't want to lose people like him because he's dealing with God knows how many moms like me. So I hope I'm coming across.
Thank you. Ms. St. John, if I could, just real quick. The parents' plan that Mrs. Saylor gave to us just now, she emailed it to us earlier in the day. I read through it, in detail, and quite frankly, I'd say probably 80% of it were items I had not even thought of. And it really opened my eyes, and
She's the only one that would honestly listen, and what bothers me is that the children that she's dealing with are children that we dealt with months ago.
Mhm.
That perhaps if we had the proper information in place then, and we acted differently then now she wouldn't be dealing with the act.
right, understood.
But those are things
So-
that I was trying to get across and things like that, and I know within our own staff and with our own administration, there's the talent to fix this.
Okay.
I just don't think that we have the organization and structure, and we're not collecting the data to do this. The Department of Education is the biggest entity this time in the world. So I'm lucky I've had that experience, but I gotta tell you, when it's happening to my son, that experience goes.
Right, it gets very personal. Gets very personal.
And then he gets misspelled crazy videos.
Yep. So where I was going with that comment, though, is just, quite frankly, whether we have parents, whether we have children in the school currently or not, we care deeply about the welfare of our kids, regardless of what politics or anything. If we didn't share that, we would not be sitting up here. We're volunteers. We don't get paid for this. Where I'm going specifically with this is I really would love to see that committee happen very quickly. We have a new superintendent. We have a bunch of things sort of coming together very, very rapidly. I look forward to hearing more ideas, facts. I'd love to, I think, understand that. I think I speak for our colleagues to find out specifically what we as a district can actually do. For example, and I'm not looking for an answer right now, but the situation where a school-age child is bullying someone, another school-age child, outside of school. on social media with a fake account or something like that. What specifically, what other remedies do we have as a school district other than suspending that child? And I saw peer mediation, I saw, some of the other, things in there, and, restorative justice. I mean, I think we're open to really looking at that because, let's face it, I think whatever school district you go to, and I think most middle school principals, whether they're ours or from other districts, are going to say, like, that particular point in a student's life, that's the worst. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, they're either angels or they're really, you want to just not, right. Right, understood. So again, the message was just, we hear you, we more than hear you, we really want to act and move forward with a solution, and we're ready, willing, and able to try different solutions. So, and thank you for coming out and speaking tonight, and for you guys to come up there, be honored. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Janine Egan.
Janine Egan, 20 Palm Street. I'm honestly shocked and a little shaky from it, that it seems every time I come to a Board of Ed meeting, it's not what I was expecting. First, to add to what Jeannie said, I was a parent advocate at a meeting where a student was wrongly accused of smoking pot and got 5 days OSS. And I had another student that was friends with my daughter get 3 days ISS because she dropped her Chromebook and was charged with destruction of school property. So I think there needs to be maybe something written down as far as how children are, being handled in the schools, because when someone's threatening a child and another kid's dropping their Chromebook and getting a more serious suspension, that's really disturbing. It's literally disturbing, and I don't know what's going on. That's not why I'm up here, though. I just had to add that. I did write the board and Mr. Giordano regarding the 30-day mark that we had as far as our election went. We did not receive any voter records. We had 30 days to file a complaint. Tomorrow's our last day. We received absolutely nothing. I don't know what's in those voter records that you don't want us to see, but it's a little suspicious that we're the only district that's not giving public records to the community. You had people who were...
Jeannie, I'm going to have counsel answer that question for you.
I would love some sort of response, because I've been waiting since May 19th.
So in terms of the FOIL law, the district has 5 business days to acknowledge a FOIL request, and then 20 business days thereafter to respond to the FOIL request. I'm not sure when you filed
Yeah,
your
but whenever
request.
there's an election, it's just like you kind of get the records so that you can file a complaint within 30 days and go through them. But we didn't get that. I don't understand why you're holding them.
There's no requirement to just turn any records over. The requirement under the law to make public records available is under the Freedom of Information law.
Yeah, I know it.
Anytime-
I know it. I just
anytime-
don't know why you're dragging it out.
No one's dragging it out. It takes time to gather the records, have them reviewed, and have them put out. And there's generally the 5 days and the 20 days. So oftentimes when people want to file a commissioner's appeal and they need public records to do so, if you consult with counsel, they often tell you you can't wait for a FOIL request to get the documents you need to file.
I already have everything.
Okay.
So I just wanted to bring that out. Another thing I wanted to bring out was the pre-recorded text messages that were sent out to a very large number of members in the community that read, "Election alert, tomorrow is election day for our school board. Vote for Ed and Lynn. Please press text stop to opt out." It didn't say who it was from, and there was no callback number. That was concerning. I know I had my neighbors, my brother-in-law, I know tons of people that had them and thought they were coming from the school. That was
They did not. come
alarming.
from-
I know they
did not
didn't
come
come from the school. That's alarming.
Okay.
And what was even more alarming is that this poor little girl just talked about ghost numbers, and we have grown adults that are texting the community with ghost numbers as well. So when we say we should really
Don't
be...
make that comment. I had nothing to do with that, and I don't know who did, so don't stand up here
I'm
and
sure.
accuse me of that.
And then the next day, the same phone number said, "Hey, it's Ed and Lynn." So is there fraud alert going on that somebody's pretending to be you guys?
Is there a question here?
Yeah, the question is someone pretending to be you guys?
There is nobody on this board that sent those text messages.
Okay. Another question I have is funding. I have parents asking me why their children with autism are getting services removed during summer school. There's a PT class that's coming out. Children with autism, it's known that a child's going to regress. Where is that coming from that we're just taking services over the summer? Because I taught summer school special ed, and I've never taken anything from a child, especially one on the spectrum.
In terms of how we designed our summer program, our ESY program, we have not removed any services. It's always predicated on what's on the student's IEPs. So anything on the student's IEP will be offered and provided during ESY if they qualify.
I'll forward you the email tomorrow from Linda Kay. Another thing is looking at the big favor that Linda's son did the district. How did he start at $325 a day as a permanent sub when it's supposed to be $125 a day?
You want to answer that, Hen?
Usually it's 60 days at $125 and then you move into $325.
We'll answer the question.
I'm just surprised because we always are told that we don't have money, services are
I
taken.
don't know. I saw that comment, and I don't know who's ever said that. We've never said we don't have money. And I think every principal in this room, every teacher in this room will tell you if they ask for things, we get them. So we've never said to anyone that we don't have money.
We were told we had no Orion because there was no money. We were told there's no STEAM because there's no money.
The previous superintendent took it away. And Dr. Romas asked if we could put it back, and it was put back in this year's budget. No one ever said it was because we didn't have money. I don't know why Mr. Nathan took it away. I was not here. I was a high school principal. I had nothing to do with Orion. So for whatever the reasons were, it was taken away. When Dr. Romas came to me and said, "Can we put it back?" I thought it was a great idea. We did it. And the board was very welcoming to it. So I don't know who said that there was no money. It was no one in this administration that ever said that. I'm sorry, you want to answer something?
Sure, and I know it's a fine line with regard to personnel, so I would just ask council to interrupt me if need be.
Generally don't discuss individual personnel.
I'm not going to discuss individual. I'm just going to say that there are certain positions that are extremely difficult to fill. And a week prior to the start of school, we had a medical leave request and we had another leave. Unfortunately, positions like elementary education, we advertised and we had 850 plus applicants. For earth science, we did not, especially given that these leaves were open-ended. So to be quite honest with you, we couldn't find anybody. And with regard to the middle school, if you look back at those same board minutes, you'll see that we had to file a waiver with New York State to bring back a retiree. And I had to explain the process that we followed and how we were not able to find anybody else in order to obtain that waiver so that that retired teacher could come back and stay under the cap of earnings. The other one was indeed a favor that Mr. Giordano called in. That person was on the board agenda as resigning. You will also see that we have a posting on the online application system for a science teacher because that is going to be replaced, and we were able to shuffle things around with regard to the subject and make the open position a less difficult position to fill. So by finagling some things, we were able to make it a general science position as opposed to one of the more difficult spots like a physics or a chem or an earth science.
So did you post the position at $125 a day or $325 a day? That you received, no one wanted the job? What was it posted as?
The position was posted as a permanent sub.
$125 a day, correct?
Correct.
So the position was filled as a permanent sub, but it was $325 a day?
It was filled at a higher rate, and I can actually furnish other instances of that happening to have. Technology is another one that's difficult to staff. People are not eager to come someplace where that leave could be over in a week, in a month, a year, or 10 years. And that's really all I can say with regard to the personnel piece and that particular instance.
I just think we need more focus on our students. I think, it's the last person that was up here even said maybe we should put a little more effort toward what's going on in the schools and maybe a little less on, doing things that are self-serving. I mean, you see what the schools are like, and it's enough is enough. The community is annoyed. Everyone has had enough. And I honestly wasn't expecting to be screamed at. You're angry that I'm bringing up questions. I email you, you have
I'm not
nothing
angry,
to
but
say back.
you keep saying things on Facebook and all these places.
Well, if
that's
you don't
not-
want-
That
if you-
lies. That
Again,
lies. Okay, listen,
Did
I
was
don't-
post the board doc. That's
Okay.
public information. You don't want public information aired in the public?
Oh, no, I don't have a problem with that.
Well,
I don't
then
have a
what's the
with that.
problem?
Okay, whatever.
Philip Brenner?
Good evening. I just wanted to take this time and the opportunity to, address Mr. Dan Giordano. When I first got to know Dan, I was a freshman or a sophomore in high school, and my first image of him was running down the hallway to go take care of a student that just passed out at the Marine Corps birthday ball. So that was my first impression of Dan. My second was when he came to my family's aid after my sister passed away. And the things that he was able to do for us and console us during that time was beyond what we thought. And Dan, your award tonight was so true. I can tell you that I wish I got the opportunity to be able to serve with you come July 1. Unfortunately, that won't be, but I wish you the best of luck. I thank you for everything you've done for this district, and I know you'll only be a phone call away, and we were very lucky to have you as superintendent, as principal of the high school, assistant principal, and I just want to say thank you very much for everything that you did, and to the Board of Education, I think you guys picked an excellent candidate, and I look forward to seeing what he's able to do over the next couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil, and you and your family have always been close friends, and I appreciate everything you do for the community as a family, so thank you.
Melinda Dolan?
I'm short, so I don't know if you're going to
You can pull it down, you can pull it, there you go.
So I'm here to talk about my son who is in special ed, and I'm gonna try not to get emotional. This has been a rough week. He's been in Allegheny since kindergarten started, and he's now going into 3rd grade. We've had so much help, and I have had nothing but gratitude for every service that he's received in Allegheny, and every teacher and every professional there who has helped him. My son has social and emotional disabilities. He does not have a learning disability. But right now, I was told on Friday that he'd be moved from Allegheny to our home zone school of William Rowe. And I understand that that is our zone, and I understand that legally this can be done. But as a special ed department, I'm asking, and I would like to see more compassion of, he is a special needs child, and he has severe social and emotional disabilities. And if you speak with his teachers, and I just had a CSE meeting for him, and they were all in agreement that they're very concerned with the regression this is gonna have on him, that this is not something that they think is beneficial for him. And my question is, he was supposed to be grandfathered along with another student whose mom is here, and we've been just trying to support each other because it's been very difficult. And it seems as if it's a general ed child, that may be difficult for them if you're moving and such, but when you're dealing with a child who has social and emotional, he just can't control himself, and he can't deal with it. And everything coming into the school, from early intervention, from kindergarten, from 1st grade, was we need him to form bonds. We need him to make friendships and relationships. And this is what he's been doing for the past 3 years, and it's still difficult, but now he's being ripped from that, and now that doesn't matter. When 2 children came into the school in the middle of the year and came into his class, why weren't they sent to Raw so that he can continue to try to improve instead of regress, which is what's going to happen? And everyone can tell me kids are resilient. I know that their kids are resilient, but you don't know what happens at home, and you don't know what happens when the pit of my stomach, when I get a phone call at work and I have to leave work more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times because he's having a problem and I hear him screaming in the background and his teachers and his principals and his counselors are trying to diffuse the situation. So it's not just emotionally disruptive for him, but it's emotionally disruptive for his family, for her family, for those of us who are trying to support him and move him along. The growth that he's done, there's still more to grow. But this is just gonna set him back. Why couldn't the other, it's 3 kids from 3rd grade. They're only moving 3 kids. You're taking them away from their friends, from their counselors, from their teachers, everyone who loves them and helps them to move up. Not saying that he may not have that, but he's already formed those bonds and relationships that they were asking him to do. So now he's gonna start all over again? And then what is that gonna do for all of us at home?
Rick, you want to address that?
I'm not allowed to specifically speak about your child, but I will try to give an explanation as to why that decision was ultimately made and why we're in this position. Obviously, it's not a decision that we wanted to make or one that we take lightly. We care about all the students and we want them to do well. But unfortunately, there are regulations that we have to follow, and those ICT classes can only contain 12 special education students. We're in a position where they contain 14 right now. So we cannot start a school year with that many students in the classroom. So the only way that we were able to make sure that we were compliant with the regulations was to send kids back to their home school and to open up a new section of ICT in the home school. Previously, this grade level at William Rawle did not have an ICT program. We've been gradually phasing our ICT program into William Rawle so that we could avoid these situations and have been starting it with kindergarten. But unfortunately, this year we weren't able to avoid it any longer because the numbers had grown so much that we needed the additional sections.
And that I understand, but my question is, why weren't the 2 children who came into the school moved over to Rawle? And if, I know that you can apply for a variance for extra special ed, or IEP children, I'm sorry, why can't they be the exception then, since they've been there since kindergarten? And it's not 30 kids that you're just, lives that are being disrupted, it's just 3.
So I can't discuss those 2 students individually, but I can answer your question about the variance. Variance is something that the state allows the district to apply for, but you cannot do so at the start of a school year. The idea is that it is an emergency situation where you can expand the numbers of IEP students in a class because in mid-year you may not be able to staff because you didn't budget for it and things like that. So they allow you to do that during the school year. However, you cannot start the school year with a variance. They won't allow you to do that. The expectation on the district is to solve the problem prior, and that's what we did by adding more staff so that we can have additional ICT classes.
But then this disrupts them. It's not solving a problem for those 2 children. And then, at the same time, maybe if Lindenhurst had ICT in each elementary school, this wouldn't have happened. Why can't that be done?
Can we look into this? Okay, we're going to take a look at this, okay? And I'm going to get back to you. If you stay here after the meeting, give me your phone number. I'll be in contact with you.
And the other person?
Okay?
Okay.
There's another parent, too.
Excuse me?
Well, there's both 2 parents, so if you both give them.
Okay. Your name, I'll get your number too, okay? Todd Rube? What's a woman's name? The other woman's name?
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Robert Richmond? I'm sorry. Am I mispronouncing your last name?
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Riker. I am the outgoing president and a graduating senior of the Lindenhurst Senior High School robotics team. I joined the LHS robotics team as a freshman 4 years ago. and it became a passion of mine from the very beginning. While I initially joined the team with an interest in building robots, our mentors assured us that the team builds more than just robots, we build character. While I might have been a shy student upon joining the team, anybody in this room that knows me knows that that isn't the case anymore. 4 years of collaborating with others, both on and off the field, workshopping my ideas, competing, and speaking to judges has made me more confident in myself than I could ever have imagined, and taught me skills in cooperation, team building, and collaboration. The students in the club were so accepting and friendly, and we hit it off instantly, becoming friends for life. Throughout the years, I've had the pleasure of networking with people from all across Long Island and New York as a whole. These interactions included thousands of other students in the FIRST robotics community from nations across the globe, representatives from companies like Grumman and Boeing, and the CEO of Altice and owner of Optimum, Patrick Drahi. And yes, I did ask him to lower your cable bills, but to no success. I got to meet Mr. Drahi at this year's competition, where we placed as semifinalists and had guests such as Mr. Giordano, Dr. Brody, and Ms. Flannelly that came and showed their support even under the strict COVID protocols. As I got to know more about our team and what we do, the program that is FIRST Robotics came more and more appealing to me and taught me so many things I never thought that I would ever learn. All throughout my childhood, I loved building Legos and playing games like Minecraft, things that give you complete creative control. And FIRST Robotics reinforced that passion for building things and inspired me to go on and study aerospace engineering this fall at Virginia Tech. After 4 years of high school, FIRST Robotics was there for me. My mentors was there for me. My team was there for me. And I stand here today grateful that the Board of Education and the district overall was there for me too. Through the group struggles of COVID-19 and my individual struggles with my physical and mental health were very tough, FIRST Robotics was an anchor in my life, and I couldn't be more grateful for what it has done for me. I will forever be grateful for the Board of Education for supporting this program, as it has truly changed my life. Thank you.
Thank you. Kai Nielsen? No.
Hello, my name is Callie Nilsson, current sophomore and president-elect of the high school robotics team, which you may know as Team 533 The Psychotics. Joining the robotics team has been one of the most enjoyable, rewarding, educational, and occasionally hectic decisions of my life. I took a leap of faith joining this club, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I walked into Lab 4 thinking I would learn a little bit more about engineering or programming, which I had a passion for. What I didn't expect to learn about was how to be a better person to others and to myself. While yes, the robotics community is all about educating kids in STEM, the company that our team competes in, known as FIRST Robotics, emphasizes educating students in gracious professionalism. Gracious professionalism involves treating others with respect in the competition setting and stresses the importance of each person, even your competition. In my time on the team, I have found more value in the concept of gracious professionalism than I ever thought I would find in building a robot. Gracious professionalism is something that I will continue to carry with me into the outside world and apply it to the people around me. All thanks to FIRST and the robotics community. While this is only my first year with the team, and I feel as though that this team is my family, I mean, after spending hours upon hours with the same people every day for 10 weeks, you're bound to grow close. I'm so grateful for how far I've come in the last year. I've met some of my best friends through this club, and I couldn't be more grateful for all of the memories that were made in the robotics lab over this year. I couldn't be more proud of the people I've worked alongside with this entire year, and seeing everyone learn new things and discover what they love to do, whether it be from design to fabrication, electronics to pneumatics, social media management to website development, to public speaking and interpersonal skills. I certainly wouldn't be here if it weren't for the help of my mentors who have helped me gain the knowledge I now have. When I joined the team, I had very little understanding of anything robotics related. And now I stand here as president-elect of the team and driver during our latest competition season. I was not only taught the basics of engineering, but also how to be a leader at times when my fellow teammates needed help. Joining the robotics team has given me new skills I never expected to learn, and for that, I'm forever grateful. While I don't know what the future holds, I do know that what I've learned here with the team will stick with me throughout my life. It is skills and lessons like these that will shape me into the best possible version of myself. This program has taught me to never give up on my dreams and to do what makes me happy, and I plan on doing just that. Even in such a male-dominated industry, I will continue doing what I love no matter what others say. But none of this would be possible without the constant support we get from the school district. If it were not for the generosity of the members of Board of Education, we would not be able to get such high-quality robots or have as many opportunities to compete as we do. My experience with the team would not be the same without the commitment the district has shown to our team. So a huge thank you to Mr. Giordano, Dr. Brody, and the board members for supporting us through and through. I speak on behalf of the entire team when I say that we are forever grateful for everything you do for us. Additionally, I would like to thank my mentors for their constant support and teaching me basically everything I know. Without them, I most definitely wouldn't be where I'm at today. I'm so grateful for them giving us their constant patience and understanding when the team needs it, not to mention being there along with us during the build and off season. Without the mentors' dedication, our team would not be the same. I'm so excited to stick with the team and see what we do in the upcoming years. I trust that with our committed members and supportful mentors, we will do new and exciting things that can spread the word of FIRST and what the robotics community stands for. Thank you.
We have any unfinished business? Any new business? Can I get a motion to go in executive session?
Move it.
Moved by Mr. Lango,
Second.
seconded by Mrs. Cunningham.